This is Sally Ann. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in June 2019, but her crippling fear of needles and hospitals has been stopping her from receiving the life-saving treatment that she so desperately needs.
Sally Ann has been having her treatment using a PICC line, and although this method works, it's not ideal. As an avid dressage competitor, we thought there's no better place than to come and see her somewhere she's most happy and relaxed, at her horse's stables.
Hello, how do you do?
So how are you doing?
Okay, I'm fine, thank you.
When did you actually find out that you have cancer?
Last June, they like to give you, after the chemotherapy, an injection to help you with your white blood cells especially.
Sure.
Which I've refused, along with the surgery, which I've refused.
So you fear the needles more than you do the cancer?
Far more.
But am I right in saying this isn't just a needle phobia? This is a fear of hospitals as well, because you're having...
Yeah, I won't go into the hospitals. I said, even if I was ill, there's no way I'd even get into the ambulance to go.
Let's go and have a
Come
little
on,
chat.
let's start.
Come on.
If we look at this, you've got cancer.
Yeah.
You've got ovarian cancer, so
Yeah.
it's severe.
Stage 3.
So ultimately, if you don't get this treated, then we all know.
Yes, what will happen?
Yeah.
You may not know, but nobody's born with a phobia. So at some point in your life, something happened to you for you to have this severe reaction. When do you think this started?
Well, I had a bit of experience at a dentist.
So tell us about what happened at the dentist.
It was about 7 or 8, I think. I just went in for a normal checkup. He said I needed 6 fillings there and then. And as a small child, I suppose that's quite a lot to take in. And I remember the nurse, dental nurse, holding my arms down while he did all the drilling.
Can I ask you, when you related that story to us, if you were to score that for me, for how bad it made you feel, 0 to 10?
Oh, that was high for me, Nick, because I
What would
can
it be?
see it now. It's probably even a 10.
But I've got something here that I'd like to show you,
If it's a needle,
and I'd like to tell me
How it makes you feel?
getting all funny now because I think it's
You
gonna
don't
be
even know what it
something.
is. You see that?
You're going to touch them, aren't you? You're going to touch them. Ooh.
I'd just like you to have a look though, because I need to know that you...
I'm going to cry in a minute, but I don't cry.
Do you want me to move them? Do you want me to move them? This is taking a lot longer than expected, and Sally Ann is really holding on to those barriers.
But we're not going to give up because this is far too important.
So my question to you, Sally Ann, is if out of the blue your best friend wrote you the nastiest letter on the planet, are you going to stop using pens because she wrote it in pen?
Oh no.
Who do you blame for the letter?
Well, the person who wrote it.
Right. But for all these years, what you've been doing is blaming a syringe because someone used it.
Who was at fault?
The dentist that broke my trust with him. That's why I won't
Nope.
go to
It
dentist.
brought you trust with
Everyone.
every medical profession.
So we're 4 hours in, and finally those barriers are starting to come down, and we're starting to make some progress.
But this is a 48-year phobia, and this is someone who said she would rather die than be in a room with needles.
So it's time for the big test. This is all about building evidence now as to why what you were previously believing wasn't true, and why believe it and realising now that it is something harmless that could save your life.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
Well done.
You were on high alert, and it was this and this, whereas now it's, okay, I'm listening. And that's great.
Yes.
Barriers have come down.
The barriers, which were very strong barriers, have now come down an awful lot to what I expected. Thank you. I
Oh
can
my
only say
gosh.
thank you because it may be life-changing for me.
Absolutely incredible. Nick and Eva are here in the studio with us, and we can also talk to Sally Ann at her home in Market Drayton. Sally Ann, good morning. It's incredible to watch you at the end of that film, you know, to see your extreme reaction with just the needle in the box, to see you holding the needle. Question is, how much further have you been able to go? What's happening with your treatment now?
Well, I finished all of my treatment. I had my PICC line removed, and so I needed monthly blood tests, which was going to be the big obstacle for me. But the nurse came out, and everyone was so amazed, even my oncologist, that I even went through having the blood tests. And for the last 4 months, I have monthly blood tests like a professional now. I don't afford to it, but I can take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, without Nick and Eva, nothing would have been possible. I'm just so grateful.
You were saying there that what they've done to you is life-changing. It could also be life-saving, and that's how important.
Yes, because obviously without the blood tests, I can't have the cancer treatment, and I'm on olaparib tablets for cancer, and I have to have monthly blood tests to make sure my white cells, all the cells, are okay to take these tablets. So without the blood tests, I couldn't have any further treatment. So it's just something that I do like a normal person would do now. They can't.
We had two extraordinary people dealing with you. Eva, what would you like to say?
I'm just so incredibly proud of her, because I've got to say, Sally Ann, you were hard work. you really made us work for that one, because there was this big barrier up. I think that when we turned up, that Sally Ann saw us as a bit of a threat, because she thought these guys are going to be bringing needles. But I just think, honestly, you are just incredible. I think you're probably one of the most brave women I've ever met in my life. And I think you're very inspirational. And thank you for listening to us.
My sister was the last resort, really, and she rang this morning just to see if the Speak Women's Nick and Eva could help, because the family just didn't know what else to do. I wouldn't go into hospital, I wouldn't have any treatment. And the whole family were just at their wits' end. So
How amazed are you at yourself now?
Well, I can't believe I've actually done it, because it's nothing like the blood tests are so easy now, where before I had such a huge fear of a needle even coming into the room towards me. And I had like a mental block, and I wouldn't go into the hospitals. In fact, I said I'd rather die than have any needles near me. It was that bad. And now I'm like, what was all the problem about? It's a little needle. What was I bothered?
That's what we kept trying to say.
Well,
Sally Ann, that's what we kept trying to say.
And Sally Ann, can I just say how amazing you look?
You look fabulous. Honestly, you look amazing.
you look unrecognisable from the lady that was in that film. And we just hope you continue to improve, you continue to keep well, you continue not to worry about needles, because they've turned out to be your friend.